All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back to the channel. Let's do this. This is an exciting video because guess what? First of its kind. I've been looking around. I haven't seen a single person talk about, let's break down Stipe Miocic versus Jon Jones, which could happen. Okay. We can talk about the scenarios where it'll happen. Obviously, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about who I think is going to win. But before I do that, before I ask you to subscribe and ring the bell, I want to say this. So for those of you who watch all of my content, you know, I'm going through a little thing right now where my subscriber base is frozen, and it is clear that YouTube is not showing my stuff to as many people. This is what I want to tell you. I can't express to you how grateful I am to you guys who can see my frustration and are telling me in the comments that you love my content, that you think I have the best MMA content on the internet, which is just an objective fact, obviously. I'm just kidding. It's just an objective fact, obviously. I mean, maybe it's an objective fact. I don't know. But you guys telling me that you love my content, I can't tell you how grateful for that I am, because this is not an easy process. Like, you work really hard. Like, I do these videos every day. I edit them every day. I grind through it. And when the system is kind of keeping me from growing at the same pace, it's very frustrating. And hearing you guys actually say, keep at it, it's going to happen, like, this shit really matters. Like, it matters. And I appreciate it very, very much. And I mean that 100% genuinely. So when I say best MMA content on the internet, you know, maybe I think that, but maybe I'm just putting on a show. Either way, it's not the same as when I say I'm very grateful for when you guys say it. That is 100% real talk. So with that, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends, blah, blah, blah. I love you guys. Thank you. So let's talk about Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about a scenario where he actually fights Stipe, because right now I am actually having trouble figuring out exactly what Jon Jones's play is here. Okay, so first of all, I would say that Jon Jones is this is an objective fact. Jon Jones is an incredible fighter, potentially the best fighter there ever was, right? Certainly, without a doubt, the most talented fighter there ever was, and arguably the best ever. And I would say that as a person, he and I will vibe whenever he and I end up hanging out, like, we're going to get along really well, right? He and I are going to make each other laugh, period. Like, we'll have a good time. As a strategic person, like as a strategic business person, I am going to question his skill set, okay? Like, if I was his really good friend, and I don't mean this at all, like, listen, I think Malky and First Round, I think they do excellent work, right? I'm certainly not saying this is some kind of like underhanded jab at First Round whatsoever. From everything I've seen, they're an excellent shop. They do a great job managing. I love all of their fighters. They have a very impressive roster. All I was going to say is, if I was Jon Jones' best friend, I would be like, maybe you should let me manage your strategy, my dude, because I can't really, like, here's the thing. I don't believe that Malky and these guys are even involved in these decisions that he's making. I think that he's going rogue, right? Like, he just says things. Now, maybe holding out is them, and that's not necessarily a bad strategy, but like, he just vacated the light heavyweight belt, right? Like, right now. Now, there's one place where that's a good play, and maybe this is what he's after, right? There's only one. Can you guys guess what it is? Can you guess what it is? The only way that it's a good play is if he's baiting Daniel Cormier into that fight, right? If he's trying to bait DC into a fight, that is very smart. If DC is really retired and he knows it, and DC has nothing to do with it, then I can't make heads or tails of this decision, because there's no fight for him. There's no fight for him. Like, if Jon Jones is going to go up a weight class, like, he fights for the title, right? Like, guys that have cleaned their division out completely in 2020, from about 2017 or whatever on, those are the rules. If you have cleaned out your division and you go up a weight class, you go down a weight class, you fight for the title. You don't do it just to see if you can fight at that weight class, right? Like, so, and the only fight there is for him at heavyweight that is not Stipe is Francis, and therein lies the problem, because Francis is fighting Stipe next. So what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Unless he's saying, I'm in shape, I'm ready to go, I'll fight Francis next week, and the winner gets Stipe. I mean, that's the only other play. But as far as I understand it, Francis is fighting Stipe next. I mean, unless I'm confused and they've changed their mind and maybe they're going to put that fight together. But again, you know what? I'm actually going to retract everything that I said about Jon's strategy, because I actually have no idea. Like, as I'm talking this through, I'm realizing I don't have any idea what's going on behind the scenes. But from what it looks like, and just historically, Jon kind of says things that don't necessarily line up with strong long-term thinking as it relates to his career and the strategy that would equate to good fights, dollars and cents, right? I really do need to get in this game, man. And I'm not saying that like trying to be arrogant. It's just I'm really good at this. Like, I'm really good at figuring out what the strategic play is once I know what your goal is. Like, what's your goal? What do you want? You know? And I could tell you whether you have the leverage to pull it off or not, and if you do, here's how you do it. I mean, and so all he can be angling at is Francis fight, DC fight, because Stipe is going to be on the shelf for a long time. Like, even if Dana behind the scenes had been like, yeah, Jon, I'll give you the Stipe fight next. We'll just, we'll have Francis fight, Babalu. Like Stipe. He's fought a 5-round war with DC. Minimum 4 months. Minimum 4 months before he's going to be able to fight. And probably more like 5 or 6. So why do you vacate the belt right now? Right? Like, why right now? I don't understand. I don't understand that at all. But that was a very long preamble leading into, let's break down the Stipe and Jon Jones fight. Okay? So I think that the prevailing ideas in the MMA community is that Stipe will be a huge favorite in that fight. I don't see it. I do not see that. And I am actually someone who considers Stipe to be the greatest heavyweight of all time. I mean, I really do. And I can't see a scenario where Jon Jones is an underdog in that fight. Styles make fights, right? Styles make fights. Now, Stipe was able to take Francis Ngannou down. And he tired him out. He still took some tremendous shots in that fight. I mean, no, I actually don't understand how he took them and stayed up, especially given that DC knocked him out, because Francis hits like a Mack truck. And, like, I don't think that he's going to like, Jon Jones is a much better wrestler than Francis. Now, Francis is stronger, but is wrestling just about strength? Like, Jon Jones is a good wrestler, great wrestler. So if Stipe tries to take him down, he's not just going to be able to just take him down. So he's going to be stuck on the feet with Jon Jones. Jon Jones is longer. He's craftier. He has more ways to hit you. And I have not seen, many guys where they're... I mean, listen, Dominic Reyes had a lot of success against Jon with a similar set of attacks to Stipe, but... I don't know, man. Jon Jones, like, Stipe's going to weigh, what, 235? Jon Jones will weigh 235. They'll be the same weight. I don't know how. I mean, I'm not saying that he's like a huge favorite over Stipe, but I can't get my mind around him being an underdog. I can't get there, right? I mean, imagine if Jon Jones has more knockout power at that weight class too. I mean, if someone sees a way that Stipe is a huge favorite over Jon Jones, I would love to hear that explanation. It's going to be a stand-up fight. Jon Jones is never going to be an underdog to anyone standing on the feet. It's just not going to happen, right? He throws more creative stuff. You have to think about a million more things. And I think also that in the last few years at light heavyweight, he's been fighting to win. Like, what's that? What do I mean? Fighting to defend his position, right? He hasn't been being creative. He hasn't been, going all out. Like, he's done what he had to win. I think if he goes up to heavyweight, you might see a little bit of the old Jon Jones. More creative, more aggressive, looking to finish the fight, looking to hurt Stipe, looking to make a statement, right? You can get bored, man. You can get bored. He's been running through guys forever, right? No one's, outside of the Gustafsson fight that he didn't even really train for, he said, and he had been doing blow all weekend. No one's even really given him a real match. Like, no one, seriously. And I watched that Gustafsson fight, very similar to the most recent Max Holloway and Volkanovski fight, right? Where I think Jon Jones won. I think Jon Jones won. I think Gustafsson did more damage, but in terms of, you're counting rounds, I think Jon Jones won. Just like I think Volkanovski won, which is unfortunate given that in a street fight that would or even at ONE FC, Max would have won because he did more damage. But in the 10-point must system, Volkanovski won the last 3 rounds. Like, it is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, if this fight actually gets made, I'll do a more in-depth analysis. But I just really wanted to kind of talk this through. You know, I don't really understand what Jon Jones is doing. I'll be excited to find out. But most of all, I don't see Jon Jones as as an underdog in that fight. And I do see him as an underdog against Francis. And if he's angling for a Francis fight right now, I don't know, man. I don't know why you would want to start at heavyweight with Francis. Get the belt first. You want to get fucking paid, right? Like, you want to get paid, son. So, go become double champ. Then negotiate. Right? I don't know. That's what I got. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Peace in the Middle East. Peace.